the Gentlementor.
And that's
Right.
that's weird.
Right.
But it was fun. Jack's a nice guy.
It's not weird because it gives me, it solidifies that notion that all men basically need the same thing. We need companionship with other men, regardless of their intellectual, professional, successful stature.
Why do you think men are so reluctant? And not the stuff we've already talked about. Like, and this isn't the topic, but here, while we're here.
Okay.
I've had some really interesting experiences in the last few weeks that have really made me kind of turn backwards on all the things we've talked about and look on them with a much different light.
Okay.
Or in a different light.
Well, I'm very interested.
Don't be, because it's probably not that interesting.
Too late. Too late I am.
Yeah. So what did you just say?
The thing that men need, the rudimentary thing that men need, is that companionship.
I'm thinking about this, and we've had all these conversations recently. You and I, me and Andy, the three of us together, when we did the podcast, and in various different configurations. There's this conversational topic that keeps coming up about, we don't have to do this stuff alone. We'd be better off if we did it together.
Right.
Okay. No one has said that's a bunch of bullshit. Everyone has said,
so far.
Yes, that's true. Yes, everybody, we all agree with that. Doesn't matter. Doesn't change anything.
Still,
nobody will let you help when they need help. And still, a lot of times if you call for help, people are busy. And so I come to the terminus at the other end of this thing going, well, that kind of doesn't work. It was along the lines with several other things. It wasn't just this one revelation together. It was along with the kind of reminder that, forgiveness is a thing that doesn't really happen. Like God forgives, but people never really forgive.
Yeah.
People always hold it in retention. It's always in a savings account somewhere.
Yeah, because I think that's a supernatural thing that God has the ability to do, and humans don't have the ability to forget.
Man, we don't have the ability to forget.
Or to truly forgive.
I think we can. I see people do it. I know people who've done it. I think a lot of people are reticent. And a lot of it's that mythology.
But when God says he separates our sin as from the east as from the west, that's not something we can do in our finite minds.
Well, no.
Anyway, we're getting off on something that's anyway. Go ahead.
Your point's taken. Yeah, we can't. But there is a point at which we can divest ourselves.
Yeah.
At which I can say I'm no longer going to hold this in an account, in a special escrow account where I may or may not choose to use it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really happen too much. And there was a third thing. There were three things that became really kind of poundingly clear to me as I was like kind of going over this. It's like this thing doesn't happen, this thing doesn't happen, and this thing doesn't happen. When people tell you something they want, they rarely really want it.
Or do they really? Well, anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Well, all this is open to analysis because, of course, I'm the outside source. You didn't have to match my skin tone. I'm tweaking on my settings to try to make me look a little more natural.
I was looking at it going, I'm so off because I normally have. Anyway, go ahead.
So it's always funny to me. It's always something that sticks out to my perceptions. Like incongruencies, and I'm like, I've in the last 2 weeks, all of that stuff has been severely challenged in my life, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about even being a dad or talking about being a dad anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I will because we've done this. I'm not going to back out, but it's like
you don't know how you feel about being a dad. You're just going to be like,
yeah. It's challenged my every perception. It's challenged, like I said, completely, I guess, had to re-estimate how I view, like, the three closest members of my family over the last couple weeks as human beings and go like, wow, here's an aspect of your personality I was really unaware of. And here's this thing, and here you are, and you're doing this thing, and I just don't know how to deal with that. My first reaction is to make an excuse and to tell myself I'm not really seeing what I'm seeing. But I'm seeing it. And I, as much as I would love to be able to engage in subterfuge, it would be really handy at times like this. I'm just not very good at it. And so, yeah, and it just made me go, wow, these were relationships I thought I was starting to get an idea of where I was at. And then the rug gets pulled. And it's like, I'm no expert.
Well, and I think that
I know we're not supposed to be experts. I'm just
and I
being
think that's part of
facetious. A little.
right. And I think that's where we've got to come to terms with, as men, as people, as human beings, we're not. The dynamic of people that we encounter is going to prove time and time again that we're not experts at. We're experts at very little. We're not. I encounter people, the same people every day, that I'm realizing I'm not even an expert at myself. And I'm like, holy cow, what is going on? And I think that's the cool thing about life. We generally continue to discover something new. It's like an adventure.
Well, we were talking to the ladies a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And we talked about the idea that, like, everybody gets a bum ride. Everybody doesn't get the same bum ride. Everybody gets some damage. Everybody gets some disadvantages. Nobody gets a fair deal. Nobody gets the same deal. Ultimately, we get to decide is if we're going to do something about it or if we're going to stay there in it.
Right.
I think it's kind of the same dynamic. In the great circus of life, in the great theater of life, you have one of two choices. You will either stop where you're at and you will bemoan your station and your situation and you will give in and give up and you will melt into the ground, or you will advance. Because the only way to remain is to advance. When you stop growing, when you stop moving forward, that's when you start to die.
Right.
So there's a propulsion of life, which comes back to that age-old argument. Are we running toward life? Or are we running away from death? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? These are all interesting questions. Makes a great segue into the fact that we're here to answer questions.
But I want to go back to your original thoughts.
Go ahead. Go back to it.
I'm gonna hold pause, point of order on your
okay.
segue.
I'm gonna push back a little.
I'm going to push back on that.
That's my favorite when people push back.
Because I want to go back. No, I don't want to push back on that. I want to go back to your original thought, because we were talking about the rudimentary need for men is we need connection. We need real connection. But yet you were leading to the point of, we know that as men, we start to know that, we start to recognize it, we start to agree to it, but yet we still don't do it. Right? Is that kind of what you were leading to in that original question? So it's like, I guess I want to go back to...
It's not necessarily a man thing, but a humanity thing.
A humanity. Oh, sure.
How many things there are that we know this is the best thing for us, so let's go over and do this thing.
Right. And I know that I shouldn't eat that. I know that I should be doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah. No, that's a necessity. That's important. Where was I going with this? Oh, but I feel like it's probably... You almost have to, again, I go back to that book that I'm reading about Nate Larkin. I don't know if we talked about it a lot last week. Did we talk about, I don't remember. I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago we talked about it, yes.
We talked about that book. And again,
don't worry about it if you're watching right now, because this is not chronologically ordered.
Because you could have watched it you could have listened to it 2 minutes ago and it wouldn't matter. He talks about how, men, they talk about how they want to do things on their own. They resist help because, number one, as men, they want to do things on their own. And then when you pour faith into that equation, it's like, not only do I want to do it on my own, but I want to wait for God to do that as well.
Me and Jesus are going to take care of this.
Yes. The Trinity of the four of us, me, God, Father, and the Holy Spirit, we got this taken care of. And we have the propensity to continue to believe that's the case when true help, and he talks about in the book, he talks about Alcoholics Anonymous, where you have to call your sponsor on a daily basis and talk to them and tell them, and it's not until you agree to that you actually move into moving away from being an addicted personality. And of course, he's got addiction and everything that's underlying current of that, but you could put anything in there. So again, I don't know what the thing is with people, and especially men, because this is what we're better at. and what we can do. I think it's almost you have to. And we're not going to let you. I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to call you. I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to force you to be in this circle almost. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you got to be pushy.
That's kind of who I am. That's kind of how I've been doing things. Like I said, I'm kind of looking around, going, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I'm doing what I shouldn't be doing.
No, even to that note, another thing. I also wholeheartedly resent the fact that you apologize for taking up my time. Because I feel
sorry, did I do that?
You have. We talked on the phone the other night.
That was the joke because I did an apology right there.
Okay, all right. That was good.
Right.
That was good.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I fell into that one.
That's all right. It's all right.
Because I don't ever want the circle of men in my life to ever feel like, hey, I'm really sorry, but I need like 5 minutes every time. No, if you call me, I'm going to take time to listen. I want to be the type of person where I'm like, okay, what I'm doing right now is not more important than listening to what it is that you need to say or ask. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's inappropriate for us to think that our relationships are not important. If I'm on the job, if I'm, get it. If I'm in a meeting and I can't get out of the meeting, whatever. If I'm on a call with someone else already, that's one thing. But there's no reason why I can't stop.
Someone's bleeding in front of me.
I can't stop writing an email or talking to a coworker and go, okay, I got time. What do you need, man? I'm here for you. Whatever it is. I just don't. I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway.
You can't always do it. It's not a realistic expectation. I tell people all the time. Call me anytime. Call me anytime. Call me anytime. Call me anytime.
I tell people that too.
There's times I don't want people to call me. There's times when that phone rings, I'm like, not now. Not now.
But see, when I sit down with a friend and we're having a drink and smoking cigars together, and all of a sudden he says, yeah, last time we haven't talked, I haven't told you about the time we almost got a divorce. I'm like, dude, you can call me. I don't care what time it is in the morning. You can call me if you need to talk something through. I don't know that I'll have all the answers, but I can guarantee I'll listen. That's it. And I told him before we left, I was like, dude, there is never a time that's not a good time for you to call me and say, hey, I need to talk at you for a few minutes. Okay, I'll listen. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I don't think that's unrealistic.
I've upset you, haven't I?
No, I'm just passionate about this.
Clearly.
I'm just passionate about this.
Clearly. I am too. I
go back to the night that I called you when my dad died. And I was like, dude, I just need to chat with you for a little bit. There was nothing that you said. You did not say anything profound. You did not heal me.
No, you weren't listening because I was profound then. Some of my best work.
Just being on the call with you made me where I needed to be, and that was all that mattered at that particular moment. I needed a voice that was just like, this is a voice that I trust. This is a voice that I enjoy hearing. And I was yeah.
I am admittedly terrible at asking for help when I need help. I'm not only bad at doing it, when I do it, I do it poorly. That aside, those are not apologies. Okay. So I was in a very manly situation, by the way.
You were in a very
very manly situation. Yes, I was changing the coils and plugs on Mike.
Oh.
And Mike threw a shoe on me the other day, and we had a talk and a heart to heart, and we went to the doctor, and so it turned out that Mike it's time for Mike to have a new ignition coil because 100,000 is kind of the limit on those, but he's almost 1.5 on that, so. Okay, we get that, and I'm like, I'm going to AutoZone. I'm like, because the car's acting funny. I'm like, I'm going to have him scan it. I'm praying all the way before I even leave. I start praying, like, God, it's your old buddy down here who's not a mechanic, getting ready to try to do something mechanical, start greasing the wheels, and it's going to go bad at some point. And you know me, and you know how I'm going to handle it, and get out in front of me on this and help me stay calm and be patient and not freak out and lose my mind and all the stuff I'm really prone to do. And if the guy says it can't be fixed, I'm not going to freak out about it and everything's going to be cool. Went in, the guy's, yeah, it's coil, and here's the coil, and here's the thing and the stuff, and I go home and start to do the thing. And of course, it's exactly like the Jeep, the process. I mean, replacing coils and plugs is a thing, you know, it happens one way, but the way it is under the hood presents other dilemmas to deal with, which none of the videos were dealing with. And so I'm like, this is not how my car's set up. I don't know if I got a different car than everybody else, but that's not quite as direct as it is for everybody else. For instance, there's like this little piece of, if you're under the hood, and like the hood's up like this, way back here, there's this ledge where like your sprayers and your windshield wipers and all that's at.
Sure.
Well, that sticks out under here, so you can't go straight down into the tube where the coil and the thing is. You got to go like that. Thing after thing like this for me destroys my self-confidence. I'm just like, I'm shaken to the point that I'm just like almost not able to function anymore. And I get to the point where I have to take the clips off the coils and I can't get the clips off. And so I start reading and I start watching videos and I'm reading and I'm watching videos. And the only thing I'm seeing are all these reports about you're probably going to break these clips. When they're old, they break real easily. They're probably going to break. You're going to break them. They're going to break. And then you're going to have to replace these clips. So be careful and try not to break them. But they're probably going to break. So just go ahead and go buy new ones before you start because they're probably going to break. And so I'm out under the hood of the car like...
Yes, tense.
Trying
stress.
to do this, terrified that I'm just about to do it wrong. And I'm just almost overwhelmed. And so I go sit down. Hey, God, it's your buddy here working on the car. Things have started to turn sideways on me. And could use a little help here. I'm having trouble with this clip thing. And so I continue to watch videos and praying and try again. And it's nothing. So it's probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I don't know. Seems like forever. I'm like, okay, look. This is the point when you need to ask for help. There are people you can ask. Mm-hmm. Call them and ask them. Mm-hmm. I'll do it. So, call my wife at work, because first guy is a guy that works with her, works on her car sometimes. Mm-hmm. I'm having this issue. See that clip's gonna break. Can you please ask him? Is there something I can do to make sure the clips don't break? Mm-hmm. He's not there. That's no fault of his. He's just not there. You know, like you were saying, if I'm in a meeting with somebody else or I'm taking care of something else, he's just not available.
You made the call.
I did. And I was like, okay, God. We'll go call number 2. Call Andy. Andy's great at stuff that, like, if you just hold your mouth the right way and you wiggle it this way and jiggle it that way and, you know, rub a little butter on it, he'll know some gimmicky thing to make it work.
Right. Andy,
of course, doesn't have a phone, so I get an Instagram FaceTime call from him. He's in the woods walking, and it's... He's got no help to offer me.
What's he doing in the woods?
He goes for a walk. That's his thing. His morning devotional time is like walking and praying in the woods. He goes down to the Thousand Hills State Park and walks through the woods for I don't know how long and listens to Bible and prays and stuff.
Cool.
So, yeah, he doesn't have any help for me either. And so I'm like, God, I've got the car disassembled in the garage. I can't move forward and I can't really go backwards. You know, I can't like put it back in unrepaired state. It isn't going to do me any good. And so I don't know what to do. And yeah, and more praying and finally crying and just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I turn to you, and you and me are supposed to do anything together. You can do all things through Christ. And I prayed and I said, you know how hard this is going to be and you know how bad I suck at this. So show up for me. And so that didn't happen quite the way I'd hoped. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll make the move and I'll call if I'm supposed to call. I'm being prideful and I'm not calling. I need to call people and say I need help. I'll call people and say I need help. And none of the people I called could help me. And you're like, this ain't how this is supposed to work. And so that kind of messed with me. And it was, like I said, it wasn't anything wrong anyone had done to me. It was just nobody, you know, Andy wasn't available. A dude at work wasn't available.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing to be mad about. It's just like, well, none of that worked. What do I do now? And I cried and prayed and got mad and finally went out and made it work. So I didn't really feel like giving anybody credit for that. Because I kind of felt like I had to go and do it myself. And I was like, well, maybe that's what I was supposed to feel. It's like, maybe quit crying so much and looking for somebody to help you all the time. Maybe you're capable of more than you're letting on. I was like, oh, well, that's a weird place for this to end up. I didn't like the way it felt. I don't like it. You know, if somebody calls me and needs something, I can't do it, it destroys me. I hate that.
Yeah.
And you know, freaking Kelly King called me and asked me if I could take him back to the airport, and I had to say no. Like
because of the car?
No.
Oh.
No, because of scheduling. The car's fine. The car's fixed.
Oh, okay.
I fixed it. Don't tell anybody. No, I just can't do it because it's the day before Thanksgiving at 3 p.m. and there's like everything going on and people I got to pick up from work. And I had to tell him no. In a matter of a few hours, I went from being in one position in that thing to being in the other position. I went from being the person who needed help and couldn't get it to the person who couldn't give help to somebody that really needed it. And those both suck. There's no moral to that story. It just sucked. It was miserable. It's all fine. It's all solved. Everything's cool. It was just like, I look at situations like this and I'm always kind of looking at God going, okay, I know the thing is I'm supposed to learn something from this. I'm having a hard time drawing a bead on what the lesson here is. Because I thought it was a lesson about patience. And I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I've also thought it could be a lesson about self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
Which hits me really weird in the middle of us having all these conversations about how we should rely on each other.
Rely on each other. Yeah.
Because I want to say, well, that's not true. That's not what we've been saying all along. But here's another truth that I know. There are people, and I have been one, and probably still am, who take advantage. Who I need a little more attention. I need a little more sympathy. I need a little more affirmation.
From those people.
From anybody. Just an opportunity to languish or have a little drama or need a little extra help. Not so much for any of those things. It's just for the attention, for the company, for the companionship.
Right.
Aspect of it.
Right.
I know a lot of people like that. And like I said, I know that I've played manipulative games like that in my youth, you know, with girls or whatever, and
yeah.
You know.
So you need the ability to waller a little bit in your whatever.
I have the ability, yes.
You have the ability.
I've done it. A lot of my childhood was spent that way with pity parties. Is what you say, oh, pity party, feeling sorry for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really hard to break out of. It was something one of the first things I ever had to fight myself over and go, this is not good. But like I said, that was somewhere in my mid-20s or somewhere. But I don't know. It's a capacity I have. I know it's a capacity most people have. Like, you know, we can all, you know, we've all got dogs and stuff, and they, hang on, it's mine.
All right, this will give me a chance to get a drink.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
All right.
Yeah, I'm just piecing it together over here.
Okay.
Ready to set it up.
Anything I can help you with?
The television. I mean,
Okay.
I don't expect to come over here and help me with it tonight.
No, it's
Plug it in and everything in the back.
okay. Well, you got the power plug's pretty obvious. You know that one. Okay, and you got a HDMI cable. That's I think it's blue and black braided kind of stuff. Got like a fabric.
It goes to the Roku.
Goes to Roku, and then the Roku's got a power thing. And then there's a single, like a RCA plug, which I don't remember what color it is. And then there's a set of 2 or 3 RCA
funny
plugs together. And one
We
set
would
will be
talk
like
about the
red, white,
opportunity
yellow.
to call someone when it's really important. And then here we are. in
The
middle
red,
of a
white, and yellow
podcast.
ones go to the DVD player.
And someone is calling Doug for information about an HDMI cable.
It's already plugged into the back of the TV. You
And
should just
he's
need to plug it
taking the
into the
time
output. Should be a red,
to
white,
listen
and yellow plug on the back of the
and to
DVD
help.
player for those to plug in. It's
This
all
man
color
was
coded.
not afraid to reach out for help.
And then there's one cable
his
left, and
moment
that
of
goes
need.
into the speaker, the sound bar.
The little green one.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that should be everything.
All right. I think I got it.
Okay. Well, like I said, you have to switch the input if you want to watch like a DVD on the DVD player, and you have to do that on the front panel, but everything else goes into the HDMI, so should be just turn it on and ready to go. But if something don't work, I can look at it when I'm over there tomorrow.
Okay. Cool.
All right, man.
That was tomorrow. They have surveillance. They have video surveillance.
Yeah, I saw the cameras up there, so
So I feel safe. Just
yeah. Did you find a place to stash the key so I can find it?
Yeah. But I'd kind of rather just leave it alone.
You're just going to leave it unlocked
Yeah.
for them to come in?
That
Do you
sounds like a good
still
idea.
want me to come out there and meet them and stuff?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not hurting me.
Okay, but you're just going to leave it
They're
unlocked.
not gonna just walk in there.
Okay. If you're comfortable with it, I don't want your stuff to get taken. I don't know what kind of neighbors you got and stuff, so.
I don't yet either.
Yeah, I know. Okay, man. Well,
But I know I got plenty of space to walk around.
yeah.
Not supposed to find it.
And no roommates.
And no roommates. It's kind of boring right now, but
I'm sure.
it's alright.
You're an independent man now. And in a couple days, you'll be an independent man with TV you can watch, so.
Alright, well, I just wanted to call. Thank
Okay, man. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Call anytime you need. All right, man. Have a good night. Bye.
Is that guy?
God just did that to make me feel like a piece of shit. You know that, don't you? I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed getting to watch that.
I did. I did. That was probably no, that was not. That was proof that you are what you say you are. That's all that was to me.
And it only proves that I am drinking more.
No, that proves that you are the real deal, man.
Oh man, that was
hilarious.
That shit was uncalled for. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you savor it.
Absolutely hilarious. No, I don't.
Tell your friends and neighbors. See,
That is
this
so funny.
This
That
is
is so funny.
This is the kind of shit that happens all the time, and I tell
No.
people, and they're like, "Oh, right." I'm like, "Yeah, no, you don't
and
understand."
Now there's proof of it. It's recorded. Now that you can put it out on the interwebs and tell people
Yeah.
this is the proof. You can't make this stuff up.
No.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
And he is this his first night? This is his first night. Man, I tell you what. That has got to be tough. I mean, he's lived with you guys for how long? A couple months?
3 months.
3 or 4 months.
Yeah, he's coming up on his 90-day work review.
Jeez, man, that has got to be hard. I mean, he has been having you guys. That really just touches my heart. Really, I am serious. I am like emotional.
Me
about
as
this
well.
right
I know. I am too. I'm sitting here
because
going,
I'm just like that's
boy,
so cool.
You know the part in the old Looney Tunes where they would like turn into the heel. Yeah.
Shut up. Yeah. No, not the heel, the ass. Right?
Yeah. Or that.
Yeah. That's what's. Gosh, man, that is what you want to be.
Yeah, I don't mind being it.
You are that guy.
It messes with my head.
Sure it does. But it's because God can trust you. He's like, Doug, I can trust you to do this because you're the one for him.
I don't know, man. I'm thrilled for him. He's
Well, I am too. And yeah, rightfully we should be. And I'm glad he's getting out on his own, is doing his thing. But it's gonna be a little bit of process for him to
Oh,
adjust
absolutely.
to that.
And that's
I
what I've
think
been
it's-
telling him for the last 2 weeks. He had it, has been getting the utilities hooked up and all that stuff. And I'm like, just because you're leaving doesn't mean I'm kicking you out of my life.
Right.
We're still family, and I'm
So
still
he's
right here.
How far is he from you? He's in Columbia there, right?
He's north part of town. He's 15,
Okay.
good 15
Is he coming over
minutes.
for Thanksgiving?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. See, that's just like, that's great.
Like I said,
That's really freaking hilarious, though.
it's been like 3 weeks. It's just like,
I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. But that's
I know what to say. Like I said, I'm glad you saw it because then I don't have to explain you
just like
that.
It's like, God, you are so funny. That is funny.
Oh,
that you do that kind of stuff to Doug.
Do you know what it's like having the sense that the creator of the universe is following you around, waiting for you to say something stupid,
Right.
just so he can go blah?
Oh my goodness, that is
Yep,
great.
yep,
That is
yep.
absolutely priceless.
And that's what I do all day, kids.
And then my monologue there about the whole thing about how funny it is that we're talking about this exact same thing. And
I could barely hear you.
You'll have to go back and listen to it because my whole monologue was narrating this whole situation about this is actually happening. We talked about it, and now it's actually happening.
I couldn't listen, but I had a pretty good idea of what you were saying.
I saw the signal.
Yeah. So how about that Mozo game show?
Yeah, how about that? Oh, that's great. I haven't got a chance to watch that yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I haven't seen
dude.
it.
Yeah, I after watching it, I'm like, no,
Really?
Mark's right. It needs to go first. It's got to be the top.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Oh, it's
I'm
so
glad.
funny. It's so good.
I was
My
busting
mom
balls
and
today
my
'cause I'm
daughter
coming-
sat and
coming to
watched
work
it
tomorrow.
today.
Really?
Yes, and laughed all the way through.
I can't
Loved
wait.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be. I saw Deborah even posted something about it, and I didn't even get to see that. But Deborah posted something, and she said this ought to be fun. I don't know if she's watched it yet, but
It
that'll be
is.
something.
It's a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm telling you what, that was one of the best things that we have done. And we keep topping ourselves, man. It's good. Nice work.
That's the name of the game.
That was all you. That was all you.
Well, it wasn't all me, but it wouldn't have been a very good game show with just me.
Well, maybe not. But still.
Yeah, I have productions where it's
Orchestrated.
all me, and they're not that great.
The Gentlementor.